That little goober right there, that's me. I told you guys I've always been a dork. It was right around this time I saw my first ever superhero movie, a movie that would send me tumbling down the years-long rabbit hole of capes, comics, and tassels. So what movie is it? What singular cinematic adventure began my lifelong obsession with superpowered men in tights?
From a doomed planet in a distant galaxy to a fantastic underground hideaway, from the Fortress of Solitude to the bustling city room of the Daily Planet. Look, up on the screen. It's Superman. Superman, the movie.
Yep. And no, before you ask, this isn't just some framing device for the video either. Superman the movie was legit the first piece of cape shit that I ever consumed. Just a wee lad having his mind blown by the idea of a man who could fly. This was thanks to my grandmother. This is one of her favorite movies and easily her favorite superhero movie. Really her only superhero movie, to be fair. That being said, 20 years ago, I'm old. The 1978 classic starring the immortal Christopher Reeves as the titular Man of Steel captured my attention and in a way has never really let it go. So it feels almost poetic, 2 years almost to the day of my grandmother's passing, to be reviewing the most anticipated film of 2025, James Gunn's brand new Superman. Superman is about, well, Superman, and how he handles the never-ending responsibility of being the world's most powerful hero. The film is centered around us, the audience, spending a couple days in Soup's boots as he tries to balance being who he is, working at the Daily Planet, plus his evolving situationship with co-worker and eternal love interest Lois Lane, following his first public defeat since announcing himself to the world 3 years prior, all while behind the scenes, petty billionaire genius Lex Luthor is working to convince the United States government to allow him to detain and eventually eliminate Superman through a complex set of planned deceptions. Superman is not a complicated film. The plot is simple and easy to follow. There's only one real surprise that I can think of, and even it's pretty well telegraphed throughout the movie. It is also an unapologetic comic book movie, brightly colored and slightly cheesy in a way that makes it incredibly endearing, especially if, like me, you're already a gigantic comic book fan. Gunn really leans into the more absurd aspects of making a comic book movie, which is not at all a bad thing. It establishes a more flexible universe where supernatural world-altering events seem completely plausible, providing a permission structure to the audience that you can play with in future DCU films. Superman doesn't have to rely on complex storytelling because that's not really the point. The point is how the movie makes you feel while you're watching it, with the film providing some of the most genuine feel-good moments I have seen in a major motion picture in a very long time. This film makes you feel a sense of joy and hope in a way that is not only lacking in most superhero films, but most films in general, providing the important narrative structure that it is actually unironically cool to just be a good person. With that premise in mind, front and center is, of course, David Corenswet's performance as Superman, which is integral to the success or failure of this film. Lucky for us, this Philly-born super dork was more than up to the task because I swear to you guys, this dude is Superman. It's literally like James Gunn shook a detective comic too hard and David fell out of it. Corenswet embodies the Man of Tomorrow in a way that I can honestly say no other live-action actor has before, providing possibly the single most heartwarming and inspiring version of our beautiful Kansas farm boy ever put to the silver screen, capturing the simple-minded, pure-hearted nature that so many before him have failed to. It helps that the rest of the cast is also 100% on the money, with Rachel Brosnahan's Lois Lane being a more punk rock version of Margot Kidder's classic portrayal of the character, with her quick wit, passion for the truth, and kind-hearted nature. The entire Justice Gang makes for an incredibly fun addition to the film, providing both a comedic and cynical rebuttal to Clark's never-ending well of optimism, with Edie Gathegi in particular standing out with his star-making turn as Mr. Terrific. Skylar Gisonato is also delightful as the apparently irresistible Jimmy Olsen, who actually plays a pretty important role in resolving the film's primary conflict. But the real gem is, of course, Nicholas Holt's show-stealing performance as Lex Luthor, a true grade A Division I hater in every single sense of the word. Holt presents Luthor as both an incredibly powerful and an incredibly small man, using every single resource at his disposal to impose his will upon everyone around him. Sound familiar? Lex's deep-seated obsession with proving his superiority to Supes is the perfect antagonistic force for the movie, and Holt funnels all of his immense, once-in-a-lifetime talent into making Lex Luthor one of the most genuinely detestable comic book villains ever put to screen. Now, while I obviously liked this film a lot, it's not perfect. There's not really a narrative through line in terms of the plot. This movie is more like 3 live-action episodes of the animated series stitched together as opposed to one singular narrative focus, which I actually don't mind personally, but I can see how it would be hard for some people to follow. Also, admittedly, as much as I truly love James Gunn's work, it can feel a little too quippy at times, undercutting some of the more serious moments of the film. And admittedly, at times, things do feel a little crowded with so many attention-capturing characters occupying the same time and space. But these are ultimately nitpicks in what is overall a really fun and enjoyable movie, which is something I wasn't sure I'd be able to say about a DC flick in the foreseeable future. James Gunn's Superman isn't a perfect movie, but it feels like it's an important one, not just because DC's cinematic future relied on it, but because the response I have seen to this movie about how it makes people feel. With all the darkness in the world around us, I guess I shouldn't be that surprised that a movie which is central focus is around kindness and hope would provide something for people to really latch onto, an emotional response to a feeling many of us haven't felt in a long time. I went into this movie with only one real grading scale in mind. Is this a Superman movie my grandmother would like? Is this the kind of movie the woman who started this obsession all those years ago would sit me down and watch with me? The answer is resoundingly yes. No, Superman isn't a perfect movie, but it is an important one for so many of us, giving us a singular ray of sunshine and a never-ending wave of darkness. Superman is a movie people really need right now, and with that in mind, I am very happy to give James Gunn's Superman 4 emphatic stars. Thank you guys so much for joining me here on the Planet Comedy YouTube channel for this episode of Real Reviews. If you liked the video, give it a like and hit the subscribe button. I will see you guys all very soon, and have a wonderful rest of your day.
It's always been wrong with me. I get scared, but that is being human, and that's my greatest strength.